intelligent sulfonylurea, as well as it also acts through hepatic cells like how metformin acts. So in that way, it has the ability to enhance insulin secretion as well as improve the sensitivity. That is very, very important. And that makes sense in real world practice because of its unique mechanism of action, the chances of hypoglycemia will be less.
In what specific patient population do you see the greatest benefit of using Imeglimin?
Yeah, typically our Asian Indian phenotype, we know that we are thin fat individuals. So we have relatively higher waist circumference compared to body mass index. So in this perspective, what does it really mean is we have insulin resistance too much compared to Western population, and we also have people having insulin secretory defect as well as synthesis of insulin, which comes down very early compared to Western population. In that perspective, this makes sense to use as an add-on therapy next to metformin, or if they don't tolerate metformin itself, then one more thing, like if we are giving monotherapy, this can also we can try. But as of now, there are no standard guidelines to say that. But it is quite possible. The greatest benefit who will be achieving in that perspective, if you see our population, Asian Indian population, they achieve greatest benefit, particularly next to metformin. This is what we think. But in real world evidence, generally we have to give this drug as third one or fourth one. But anyhow, it all depends on the patient's clinical conditions, individualization, all those things.
How does Imeglimin compare to other hypoglycemic agents in terms of safety and efficacy? Kindly share any real world case if you have.
So one of the exciting thing when I started Imeglimin in my day-to-day clinical practice, because when it was getting promoted, I was one among the first person to take up this molecule. Generally, we try to implement whatever the newer scientific advances come through. So in that perspective, we wanted to try this Imeglimin. It was really interesting to learn about the scientific aspect of this Imeglimin, mechanism of action, its role in mitochondrial function improvement to produce better glycemic efficacy. So in real world, we wanted to try, so we tried that. And generally in our clinical practice, we tried as fourth or fifth agent, not as the second agent next to metformin. And another perspective is like we have at least 1/10 or sometimes 1/20 of people not tolerating metformin at all. These people develop gastritis or they develop any GI side effect. For them, we try to substitute this one and it was successful. So relatively lesser GI side effects compared to metformin. So that is one added advantage for this particular molecule. Apart from that, say for example, already the person is getting 3 different drugs but still not at all willing to take insulin. When we add a fourth drug, this adds value, like in reduction of A1C up to 0.5%, which is again worthy to combine as third or fourth one.
In recent time, Imeglimin sustained release formulation with Indian study has been launched in India. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, actually, I have not started the sustained release formulation yet. Studies have claimed that at least these people have at least half of lesser GI side effects, and particularly compared to metformin sustained release. And yeah, of course, we have to explore more. Right now, I have no experience as far as sustained release Imeglimin is concerned. Hopefully, it should be good.
How does the mitochondrial targeting mechanism of Imeglimin influence its clinical use?
Yeah, generally we learn about ominous octet. So there are multiple pathophysiologic mechanisms, and so this is one of the additional pathway, the mitochondrial mechanism, where it was unexplored for so many decades or months. These are all recent scientific advances, and This found to be, that is mitochondrial dysfunction, found to be one of the common underlying issue that contributes to insulin resistance as well as impaired glucose metabolism. So when we target this mitochondrial function, definitely this addresses the fundamental aspect of the disease, helping to restore the basic metabolic processes. This unique approach, it not only aids in lowering glucose levels but also has the potential to improve the overall metabolic health. Of course, ultimately our aim is to prevent complications, which should be working.
What are the key safety and efficacy findings from clinical evidences on Imeglimin that clinicians should be aware of?
Yeah, the first and foremost would be always the lesser GI side effect. So unless otherwise a person wants to take some medications, there should not be adverse reaction with the perspective to GI tract naturally, because whenever a person says there is no complaint at all but there is hyperglycemia, but when we start with any medication, when they develop some gastritis or whatever the GI side effect like diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, that makes the patient go for frustration. So this should not happen. So from that perspective, it is relatively GI safe compared to metformin. And not only that, this is tolerable. This is tolerated by many of the people. So in my clinical practice, we have started to more than hundreds of patients this Imeglimin at various stages of diabetes, like as the third drug or sometimes fourth drug, most of the time as fifth drug, all those things. Those who do not want to have insulin, so they have better tolerance to this particular drug. There is no extra GI side effects. So these are all the matter which matters most to the patients. And as far as efficacy is concerned, generally we see that this is add-on therapy. In that perspective, in clinical practice, in real-world evidence, we always see variability in attaining the target HbA1c. That also happens with this molecule. We all understand that there are certain cluster of people responding so well, but others cluster of people not at all responding. There are other cluster of people responding but with some side effects. Other cluster of people having only side effects. So this are all goes and moves towards precision medicine. Only thing is, only by clinical experience we can identify who are the people responding well. But generally, many people respond well. So from that perspective, efficacy is good.
Do you believe that Imeglimin has the potential to change the future landscape of diabetes treatment?
Yeah, perhaps we have to accept there are a lot of improvements in discovery, drug discovery and molecular mechanisms, because see, it was micro level till last decade, but it is now nano level. So it is at cellular level. And to the core, we are now thinking about what happens in mitochondria, what happens in nucleus level, all those things. So even though we understand that there are PPAR gamma agonists like pioglitazone, which is acting at nuclear level by changing various mechanisms, this is very unique mechanism found to be working at cellular level. So naturally, it should complement the existing therapy. That is one thing. Second thing, in future, probably this might become a promising option for more comprehensive diabetes care, particularly when we think of this comprehensive or holistic care or a big picture like full course of therapy or a view to address each and every part. That is, it's not treating the disease, it is treating the person with the disease. In that perspective, research may unfold. This might become a cornerstone in management of diabetes. And considering the favorable safety as well as efficacy and also tolerability, it's a valuable option in comprehensive treatment plans. So that's what we are expecting as far as this particular molecule is concerned.
Any other key points or take-home message you would like to give apart from this?
Really, it is one of the exciting mechanism of action and which we have tried in our clinical practice, explored and found to be valuable as add-on therapy. And it's going to be add-on therapy for a few more years to say, because we have so many other molecules addressing heart failure, renal disease, or macroalbuminuria, and we know that that happens. So we need more robust evidence, more real-world evidence, which can be got only by clinical experience. So unless otherwise we start use this particular molecule in our day-to-day clinical practice, it is really hard. We have to generate data, how well this particular molecules are providing efficacy in terms of A1C reduction, how much is the safety, what are the adverse reactions, who are the people tolerating well to this particular molecule, all those things. We need more real world evidence. From that perspective, if more number of people, more number of diabetology practitioners use this particular molecule, then we get huge data enough to move forward.